Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results from July the 6th. Advertised dark main event was advertised as John Cena, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, and Kevin Owens in a tag team match. Former Ring of Honor champion Adam Cole turned 26 on Sunday. He was born July 5th, 1989. Jamie Dundee, aka real name James Cruikshanks, turned 44 on Sunday. He was born July 5th, 1971. Jerry Sags, real name of Jerry Sagnowich, turned 51. He was born July 5th, 1964. Sid Vicious, aka Sid Justice, or Psycho Sid, real name of Sid Udi, turned 55 on Saturday. He was born July the 4th, 1960. Barry Windham turned 55 on Saturday. He was born July 4th, 1960. Windham has been inducted into WWE Hall of Fame in 2012 as a member of the Four Horsemen. Brie Bella spoke with Female First website and spoke about a potential WrestleMania match with a pair of WWE Hall of Famers. There was talk of this at WrestleMania, and she said, "I would love to go against Team Besties." Then, if you didn't know, that's Lita and Trish Stratus, to go up against the Team Bella. And it could happen, as Brie said. Brie also spoke about her desire to face NXT talent. "My sister and I were begging Vince McMahon for more divas to come up to the main roster from NXT after WrestleMania, but they have to wrap up their stories there, which can sometimes be why it doesn't happen immediately and as fast as we'd like," she said, and also asked who she'd like to make the move. She responds to all of them. Definitely Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and Becky. And you can read more at femalefirst.co.uk. Brie did the interview to promote the return of Total Divas reality show that airs this coming Tuesday night on E! In the United States. She hyped a Daniel Bryan fertility test and claimed that Eva Marie refuses to train with NXT and instead insists on training in her hometown with Brian Kendrick. It's worth noting that Eva actually tweeted last month that WWE Performance Center would be her home for a few weeks. Ring of Honor issued the following press release on Monday to announce the return of Austin Aries, AEW. For the first time in nearly 5 years, Austin Aries is returning to Ring of Honor on July 17th. Aries, who is the first two-time Ring of Honor World Champion, as well as former Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, will be in Sin City. The always confident and outspoken former leader of Generation Next has told Ring of Honor officials he wants to address the Ring of Honor fans live in Las Vegas. Exactly what Aries has to say is not clear, but he has never been known to hold anything back, and he is not one to shy away from controversy. Be there live on July 17th to see what kind of impact Austin Aries plans to make in his Ring of Honor return. WWE is obviously going with a babyface Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt, but it's worth noting that Triple H has reportedly pushed hard for Reigns to turn heel. However, Vince McMahon was not on board for that. But both Vince and Triple H are said to be in agreement that NXT champion Kevin Owens is more than ready, which is why he's been fast-tracked to the main event on the main roster. It's worth noting that at Money in the Bank, Vince wanted John Cena protected, while Triple H wanted referee stoppage due to the powerbomb on the apron. WWE actually first considered to have Roman Reigns or Dolph Ziggler to win the Money in the Bank briefcase a few weeks back, but went with option C instead, which was Sheamus. Sheamus winning is not considered a bad creative decision, as it was expected, and he can be seen as a credible threat for the WWE World Heavyweight title. And how that Triple H has pushed for a Reigns heel turn, but Vince McMahon was not on board with it. The heel turn talks for Reigns to have something to do with why he did not win the briefcase. It's still possible that Reigns ends up turning heel while in the current feud with Bray Wyatt. Reigns had been the planned briefcase winner, and they also discussed Ziggler, but in the end it was Triple H who pushed for Sheamus to go over. Regarding the post-Money in the Bank booking of Sheamus, his loss the next night to Dean Ambrose on Raw was seen as a sign that the company still isn't sure on where they're going with him. WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin told Dan Gelston of the AP that he has already worked his last match. I think I've left everything that I've got in the ring, as Stone Cold said. There's no reason to go back in the ring and prove anything. I had a ride off into the sunset a little bit earlier than I'd liked, but that final match I had at WrestleMania with The Rock was my last match. You can read the full story at bigstory.ap.org. The story also notes that Austin is not scheduled to appear on Raw for the official WWE 2K15 video game cover announcement. 2K's vice president of marketing is also quoted in the story as saying that Austin was involved in shaping the creative direction of the game that features his image on the cover. Becky Lynch has announced on NXT television that she will be taking time off to allow a hip flexor injury heal. She suffered the injury during a match against Sasha Banks at the most recent NXT Live special on May 20th. NXT's Bayley is also out with an apparent hand injury suffered at the Pittsburgh Live event. Here's hoping that these injuries require weeks rather than months of recovery time. And thanks to .NET staffer Zach Zimmerman for the info on Bayley's injury. And WWE announced that Dean Ambrose will star in 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown, as Ambrose plays a character named Shaw, who is trying to take down dirty cops who framed him for the death of his partner. The movie will premiere September 11th. For more details, go to WWE.com. WWE Story lists September 11th as the premiere date for both in theater and video on demand. One can only assume that the film will have a very limited theater release. The first 12 rounds, of course, starred John Cena and actually had a pretty substantial theater release, but the sequel starred Randy Orton and were released straight to DVD. Ronda Rousey indicated on Instagram that former WWE diva Eve Therese Gracie has given birth to her first child, for she and husband Renier Gracie, as Rousey posted it on Instagram. And on Instagram, on my computer, it was taken off for some reason. The picture wasn't there. And WWE and Mountain Dew are giving away two trips for two to this year's SummerSlam event in Brooklyn with their hashtag WWE XDew sweepstakes. Full details on the contest are at this link that I'll post, as Dolph Ziggler promotes the contest in the video, so look for the video. TV Guide's Sadie Jennis participated in a Tough Enough mini camp at the Performance Center this past week. TNA Wrestling is looking to get reestablished on traditional pay-per-view. They're aware that they are low on mainstream star power, which is one of the reasons they were planning to go after Dolph Ziggler, since his contract is expiring very soon, and they're going after him hard. While Ziggler is expected to re-sign with WWE, if he hasn't already, as he himself has been giving lately some conflicting stories, TNA still wants Rey Mysterio for the same reason and more. The Ziggler staying with WWE gives Rey a lot more leverage than for TNA. At last word, Rey has still not signed his Lucha Underground deal. According to one source, Lucha is rumored to be experiencing some minor financial issues right now, which could leave the perfect opening for TNA to step in and sign Rey. However, Lucha reportedly offered Rey a deal worth almost $1 million, and TNA likely won't be able to match that, as they want to stay around half that time. WWE officials are interested in adding more bookings with Tough Enough host Chris Jericho, as they are happy with the response that he receives at live events, and he's working for less money than previous runs. Jericho still does not want to commit to TV or lengthy angles right now, as this schedule gives him more freedom to schedule dates for Fozzy, among other TV shows, what have you. Jericho is interested in doing as many WWE dates as possible when he's not working with Fozzy. It was said that some concert promoters have been concerned about Jericho's lengthy absence from WWE TV because of the exposure, and this is one of the reasons why Jericho pushed hard to get the Tough Enough gig, as it adds to his billing as a current TV star. As seen on tonight's WWE Raw from Chicago, Brock Lesnar destroyed Double J Security's Cadillac CTS and ripped one of the rear doors off. As when he tossed the door towards the crowd, a piece of it hit a crowd member, apparently striking the fan, who had to be rushed to the back to be checked on. And the fans in attendance noted that the WWE security and EMTs were tending to the fan before bringing the man backstage, which later returned to his seat and appeared to be fine. Raw pre-show host Scott Stafford noted on Twitter that the current WWE title holder will join him, Corey Graves, and David Otunga on the network broadcast. As noted, David Otunga has worked over the weekend and has returned to action for the WWE Live event in Rockford, Illinois, in his losing effort to R-Truth. Otunga posted the following about his return. I showed up at #WWE Rockford to accept at John Cena's open challenge, but I ended up smashing at R-Truth instead. Okay, Ric Flair, Goldust, and Stardust are all backstage at Raw in Chicago, but not used. Likely for the post-Raw Dusty Rhodes tribute. WWE then taped the following matches from Chicago to air on this coming week's Superstars. Neville versus Heath Slater, Primetime Players versus Ascension in a non-title match. WWE announced on tonight's Raw that the WWE app has been downloaded 20,038,999 times. And here's the results. Spoilers for Superstars. Neville defeated Heath Slater, and Primetime Players defeated Ascension. Raw opens up with a look back at Seth Rollins giving gifts to Kane, Joey Mercury, and Jamie Noble from last week. And live from Chicago with Michael Coleslaw, JBL, and Byron Saxton. We'll start calling JBL L-Slaw. We got Coleslaw, L-Slaw, and then we'll call him Saxlaw. We go right to the ring, and out comes Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman to a big pop. Heyman takes the mic and introduces himself. My name is Paul Heyman. He calls Lesnar the Nightmare of Suplex City. Heyman then brings up Tokyo and knocks Seth Rollins, saying he lucked his way into the WWE World Heavyweight title. Heyman then said Rollins is going to learn the hard way that Lesnar is a god, the god of a violent retribution. Heyman then said that retribution will come to Rollins and anyone who stands with him. Heyman says Lesnar is a sword that will pierce Rollins' shield. And Heyman brings up the Undertaker streak as fans boo. Heyman goes on and on about Lesnar's battles and says Lesnar doesn't respect Rollins. He harbors disrespect for him. Heyman says Rollins broke the 11th commandment, thou shalt not provoke the beast. And thus, they had a quote, a show over in Tokyo called The Beast in the East. Well, Heyman then hyped Battleground and said that Lesnar will take the title back. Heyman said that the title match may take place in St. Louis, but the beatings and the suplexes begin tonight. A big Suplex City chant broke out. Heyman said Lesnar isn't going anywhere tonight. And someone better tell Rollins that Lesnar is waiting. As Lesnar's music hits and they leave to a pop. Well, I was thinking, well, normally when they say that, they stay in the ring and wait for it to go like an open challenge. Well, back to Lesnar. Well, he didn't face Rollins over in Japan. He faced none other than Kofi Kingston. Of course, that's a squash. Okay, back to the Raw results. The announcers revealed that Kane is on vacation in Hawaii. They showed some pictures of Kane his picture being pasted over some other stuff and what have you. He had him in a Hawaiian dress type thing. The hula dancer type things. Well, that was it. And we also get a comedic look at Double J Security Road Trip and their Cadillac CTS this past week. Oh, yeah, it's decked out with some camouflage runners along the bottom of the car. Spoilers or whatever you want to call it. Coleslaw says we will have highlights from the trip later. First matchup, Big Show versus Ryback. Imagine if you put their tag team together, what would it be? Showback? Big Show made his way out as we go to a commercial. We back from the break. Miz is out watching at ringside. Yeah, this was the boring and most predictable part of the show. The WWE Intercontinental Champion Ryback was out next for a non-title match. They go to start the match, and Mills yells on the mic at both guys. They lock up, and Show sends Ryback to the mat. Ryback fights back, but Show takes him down to the corner with chops. And the Mills is still yelling on the microphone for more chops. Show with more offense until Show misses a splash to the corner, and Ryback turns it around with shoulder thrust. Ryback mounts Show in the corner, but Miz distracts him on the microphone. Show slams Ryback out of the corner. We go to another commercial. Back from the commercial, and Show has Ryback in a leg submission, while Miz yells at him about retirement. Miz is on the apron yelling into the microphone again. Show turns around from the distraction, and Ryback scoops him, but Show falls on top for a 2 count. Fans chant Cleveland sucks at Miz, and Miz comes back with his, I'm not from Cleveland anymore, stupids. I'm from Hollywood. Show with a big splash in the corner, but Ryback takes his knees out. Ryback comes back, and they trade shots in the middle of the ring. Ryback staggers Show with shoulders. He ducks a clothesline and knocks Show down with a shoulder. Ryback ready for the meat hook clothesline, but Miz jumped on the apron. Ryback swing. The Miz dropped down, back onto the floor. Ryback hits the meat hook on Show and a splash for a 2 count. Ryback then goes up top, but misses a big splash. And Show rolls out of the way. But Big Show gets up and nails him with a clothesline. Then goes to the second rope, drops a big elbow, but the Miz runs in, beats up Show for the disqualification. After the match was over, Miz starts beating up both Ryback and Big Show. Then Show gets up, and Miz turns around. Ryback also gets up while the Miz is facing Big Show. He pleads with both as they fans chant, feed me more. Ryback nails Show shot, and then Show picks him up and nails a big choke slam. Show turns around, and Ryback lays him out. Ryback stands tall as his music hits. And then we go to back to a commercial break. Come back, we get a preview for Total Divas. Then we see more Photoshop photos of Kane in Hawaii. And we see Double J Security in their hooked up Cadillac CTS outside of Wrigley Field. Yep, where the Chicago Cubs play. They still have their sticker in the window. Next up, we got Brie Bella versus Paige. We go to the ring, and Brie Bella's in the ring with Alicia Fox and Divas champion Nikki Bella, her sister. Paige was out next to a big pop by herself. They lock up. Paige takes it to the corner with offense. She beats Brie down and stomps away. Brie fights off and dumps her to the apron, then sending her to the floor. Brie works down Paige over and brings her back in the ring for a 2 count. Then we get Naomi and Tamina looking on from backstage on a monitor. Brie keeps Paige grounded. Then we go back and forth again. Team Bella interference backfires. Paige unloads on Brie. Paige drops her with a super kick. Then Brie blocks the PTO. More back and forth action as Brie goes for a missile drop kick, but Paige moved. Clearly a few seconds before, and then looked at it, just steps out of the way. Nikki got back up on the apron. Paige threw Brie into her, sending Nikki to the floor. Alicia also got knocked off. Brie took advantage of the distraction and hits the Bella Buster for the win. After the match, Team Bella comes in after Paige. They stand tall and raise their arms after Nikki hits the rack attack on Paige. Then we get a video package of Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. And this sets up your next match, Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. We go to the ring. Out comes Roman through the crowd. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and out comes Sheamus with his Money in the Bank briefcase. The bell rings, and they lock Wyatt up, hitting the ropes and breaking. Clearly, everybody knows that Bray Wyatt's going to interfere in this match somewhere. It's what I was waiting for. They quickly lock up again, and Reigns applies the headlock. Reigns drops Sheamus with a shoulder, and Sheamus rolls to the floor for a breather. Sheamus comes back in with a boot and takes control. Sheamus nails a knee to the gut with a big scoop slam. Sheamus drops knees on Roman and covers for a 2 count. Reigns comes back and clotheslines Sheamus over the top rope. Reigns follows up, and they trade shots at ringside. Reigns then tosses Sheamus into the barrier. Reigns brings him back in the ring, which was, my guess, it would have been a perfect where the lights go out when in comes Bray Wyatt, but it didn't happen. Sheamus meets him up with a high knee. Sheamus with more offense and sending Roman to the floor again. Then we go to another commercial. Back from the break, Sheamus has Reigns grounded on the mat. Sheamus has control and fixes his hair. Yeah, puts it back up in a spike. Reigns popped up and then dropped Sheamus on his face. Reigns makes a comeback with a clothesline and a big forearm as Reigns with control and nails a clothesline in the corner and a kick to the face. Sheamus blocks a Samoan drop and goes for the Irish curse. But Reigns rolls through and then blocks a clover leaf and nails the big apron drop kick from the floor. Reigns came back in and hits a Samoan drop. And then Sheamus blocks a Superman punch and hits the knee to the spine for a 2 count. And they go back and forth for a moment. Then Sheamus comes off the top but runs into a Superman punch. Reigns readies for a spear, but Bray Wyatt's music hits. Interruption. And the lights go out. Supposedly Wyatt makes his way out as the Fireflies light up the arena. Reigns drops Wyatt with a Superman punch as soon as he comes down the ramp. And Reigns quickly realizes it's not Wyatt, but he's pulled a wig off instead. And the screen flashes again, and the real Wyatt appears on this big screen laughing. Anyone but you, Roman. Anyone but you. As Reigns gets counted out with a 10 for the count out. After the match, Sheamus is celebrating with a briefcase until Randy Orton's music comes on, and he's coming out to a big pop. Sheamus meets him at ringside, and Orton unloads. Sheamus tries to escape through the crowd, but Orton stopped him and keeps beating on him. Sheamus sends Orton into the ring post and rolls back in the ring. Sheamus comes in, but Orton dropped him with an RKO to a big pop, and Orton's music hits and celebrates and talks trash to Sheamus. And that's just hyping the WWE Network, now available in Italy. Triple H backstage on the phone. Seth Rollins walks in with Double J security, and Triple H says he loves the upgrades that they have made to the Cadillac. Triple H asks for a word alone with Rollins, and they leave. So we get Triple H wanting to know what he plans on doing about Brock Lesnar, and Rollins says that's why he came in for advice. Triple H's advice is for him to retain at Battleground. Rollins says he has that in the bag, but is asking about tonight. Triple H tells him to ignore Lesnar and stay away from him. Triple H tells Rollins he has the advantage and should let Lesnar make a mistake that Rollins can capitalize on. Triple H says no, that's not really how Lesnar operates, and Rollins needs to do something unexpected to provoke the beast. Rollins says that this means he has to call Lesnar out, the last thing anyone would expect him to do. Rollins says he's going to show Lesnar why he's the man, and walks off as we go to commercial. Back from the commercial, we see a cat fight between Lana and Summer from last week. We go to the ring. Summer Rae is in the ring with Rusev. Rusev says that he was so inspired by his new woman, Summer apologizing last week. He came out to apologize himself tonight. Rusev says, I apologize. Fans start chanting for Lana. Rusev gets upset and starts ripping on Lana, Dolph Ziggler, and the fans. And he says he's better looking and more passionate than Ziggler. Fans start chanting USA. Summer says that we should be showing Rusev the respect he deserves, and she gets booed for her hometown by her hometown crowd. Rusev kisses her hand, and out comes Ziggler with Lana. Ziggler gets in the ring and asks if Rusev's brain is broken too, and says every opportunity he got in WWE is due to Lana. Ziggler and Lana are in the ring now. Ziggler says Rusev knows he lost the best thing that ever happened to him. Ziggler and Lana started kissing, which makes Rusev jealous. Rusev turns away and Summer yells at Ziggler. Lana gets in her face and they take their shoes off. As the fans cheer, Rusev stops the cat fight from happening as the fans boo. Rusev then decks Ziggler with a crutch out of nowhere and beats him down. Lana's looking on screaming. Rusev kicks Ziggler with a cast. He takes the cast off now and sends Summer to kick Lana in the back. Summer tosses Lana out of the ring. Rusev unloads on Ziggler and beats him up some more. Ziggler fights back some, but Rusev drops him and rams the crutch in his on his throat. Referees run down to check on Ziggler and tell Rusev to back off. Momentarily, we get replays. The EMTs bring out a stretcher, but Rusev continues to assault on Ziggler. And then Rusev raises the crutch high in the air as the fans boo, and we go to another commercial. Back from the commercial, and we see what just happened to Dolph Ziggler, and we see footage of Ziggler being stretchered out with Lana at his side. Then we get Bo Dallas versus Dean Ambrose up next. We go to the ring, out comes Bo Dallas. He does his little stitch. Bo says what we just saw happen to Ziggler was horrible, but it goes to show that bad things happen to bad people, and good things happen to good people. Bo says good people like himself. Bo says all you have to do is Bo leave. I'm saying, well, if you want to Bo leave, just Bo leave the ring. As Dean Ambrose music hits, and now he comes to a great big pop. Bo offers his hand for a handshake, but Bo whips him into the ropes for a clothesline. Ambrose sends Bo to the corner and unloads with stomps. Ambrose with more offense, and Bo comes back with a clothesline to the back of the head. Bo with knees and gets a 2 count. Bo with a headlock. Now as fans do dueling chants for both superstars, Ambrose fights out, but Bo stops him with a clothesline. And then Bo poses to mostly boos. Bo does a victory lap around Ambrose in the middle of the ring. Bo removes his knee pad momentarily, drops the knee, but Ambrose moves out of the way. Ambrose unloads and hits the running bulldog. Ambrose goes to the top with the elbow drop while Bo is standing. But Bo blocks the neck breaker, but Ambrose nails a big bounce back clothesline and dirty knees for the win. More footage from Double J Security riding around Chicago in their Cadillac from earlier. Still to come, Seth Rollins will call out Brock Lesnar. Back to commercial. King Barrett versus R-Truth. Actually, King Barrett versus King Truth. Back from the break, King Barrett is in the ring with King Truth. Both have their royal get-ups on. And they both go to start the match with Truth getting an early roll-up for a 2 count. Then Truth gets a headlock. Truth sends Barrett to the floor and plays to the crowd. Barrett pulls him out, sends him into the apron. Barrett sends Truth into the ring post and goes back in. Barrett slams Truth's face into the apron and sends him back into the ring post. And Barrett brings him back into the ring. He only gets a 2 count when we go to commercial break with Barrett in control of the match. We come back and Barrett's still in control. Truth finally makes a comeback, but Barrett drops him with a cheap shot. Barrett goes for the bull hammer, but Truth rolls him up for a 2 count. Truth comes off the rope, but Barrett nails the bull hammer in midair for the win. And then Barrett grabs his cape and his scepter and holds up the scepter as we go to replays. And we see Seth Rollins walking backstage with Double J Security, and he has what looks like an X handle. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we get another replay. What happened to Ziggler? We go to the back to the arena, and out comes WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins with an axe handle. Heck, I thought he was going to get the Triple H's sledgehammer, the equalizer. But Double J Security drive over in their Cadillac for their entrance. They pop the trunk and have axe handles of their own. Rollins cuts a promo on Lesnar and how he left him laying like a dog last week. Rollins says he's going to burn Suplex City to the ground at Battleground. We get a video package of last week's beatdown. We come back to Rollins bragging about what he's done. Rollins goes on, and if Justin Bieber chant broke out from the crowd as Rollins calls Lesnar out, and they wait and wait. And then Lesnar's music finally hits to a pop, and he comes out with Heyman. Lesnar looks on from ringside, and all three wait with axe handles. Lesnar backs up to the entrance where the Cadillac is. Yep, backs up. He doesn't look at it just to see what they're going to do when they stay in the ring. Lesnar motions to Heyman, who pushes a fire kit case over towards the car. Well, it's a case. It's got fire extinguishers. And at the bottom, as Heyman's digging way deep, brings out one or two axe handles himself. Well, Heyman, like I said, Heyman then opened it, pulled out the pair of big axes. He goes to the car, not Heyman, that's Lesnar, and starts destroying it. A couple of times just bounced off. The Double J Security look on from the ring with Rollins. Lesnar ripped one of the doors off when he slammed it, pulled it too. And then Lesnar opened up the door and ripped it from its hinges. Yeah, the back car door on the driver's side. As Double J try and attack Lesnar, then tries to break Noble's arm. Yep. The same one when he did Triple H's arm. Yeah. Then he tossed Mercury on top of the windshield, not once, but twice. Fans called for a suplex. Lesnar suplexed Mercury on top of the car the second time, and this time breaking the windshield. Lesnar took his shirt off and headed to the ring as Rollins awaited. Lesnar hit the ring, but Rollins immediately ran away and goes to the crowd. Lesnar follows, but stops as Rollins runs up the stairs. Lesnar goes back to the ring and raises the WWE World Heavyweight title belt to a big pop. As Lesnar leaves with one of the axe handles and sticks it in one of the windows of the car. And then we go to replays of Lesnar destroying the car. Lesnar stands on top of the car and as Heyman praises him. And his music plays. This still to come segment, John Cena's US Open title challenge. Back to commercial. We get hype for tomorrow's Total Divas and Tough Enough. We'll get a replay of what Lesnar just did to the Cadillac and the Authority. Lucha Dragons versus the New Day. Well, didn't see much of this match. I think I took me a powder break. A drink break, whatever you call it. Just a break. Okay, we go to the ring out. First comes Sin Cara with Kalisto. Tag team champions, primetime players on commentary. Big E, Xavier Woods, and company were out next. We see the destroyed Cadillac still sitting at the entranceway. Kofi Kingston and Big E represent the New Day in this match. Kofi starts off with Sin Cara. As Sin Cara gets the upper hand and tags in Kalisto for some double teaming and a 2 count. Big E comes back and gets the overpowering as the Lucha Dragons turn it around and go for a double dive, but Woods gets on the apron for a distraction. They take him out and go up top to the corners. They both leap out onto the New Day and lay them all out. As we go to commercial, back from the break, Kofi is in control of Kalisto. Big E comes in and knocks Sin Cara off the apron. He then suplexes Kalisto across the ring and starts clapping. Titus O'Neil and JBL are arguing on commentary. Sin Cara finally gets a hot tag and unloads on Kofi. The Lucha Dragons both leap out. But Cara hits the barrier and Big E tosses Kalisto out across the floor. Then they bring Sin Cara back in the ring for a double team and the win. After the match, Titus, Darren Young stand up with their titles to have words with the New Day as they celebrate their win. Then we get hyped for the post-Raw Dusty Rhodes tribute on the WWE Network. Still to come, John Cena's U.S. Open Challenge. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Out comes WWE United States Champion. You can't see me, Cena. As fans sing their own version of the singing song, Cena sucks. Coleslaw leads us to a video on Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the NXT title at the Beast in the East that I spoke about earlier, in which Kevin Owens lost his title to Finn Balor. Congratulations, Finn Balor, on becoming the new NXT champion. And Cena brings up Owens losing and says, we're going to get a title match tonight. Cena says he's had a lot of good memories in this building and wants to make another tonight. Cena says whoever comes through the curtain better bring their A game. And we get Cena goes to kick off the U.S. Open Challenge, but the music hits and out comes former NXT champion Kevin Owens. Owens speaks from the entrance and says, every week, the worst part of Raw is when Cena comes out to spew his garbage. The fans cheer for Owens. Owens says he's so sick of it and will end it tonight. So he wants his match tonight instead of waiting for the pay-per-view. Cena's time is officially up. Owens says he is no longer just wants the U.S. title. He needs it. Owens says he's going to take it, and so we don't have to ever hear Cena's crap again. Owens then enters the ring and says he was fine with waiting until Battleground, but he's taking the title from Cena tonight. Since he lost the NXT title, Cesaro's music hits and out he comes. And Cesaro says no one wants to hear Owens. Cesaro then talks about getting a title shot and gets in Owens' face. Cesaro says Owens will have a problem with him if he doesn't get out of the ring. Cesaro jots the mic and waits for Owens to leave. Owens does leave and fans boo as Lillian Garcia makes the formal introductions. So we get the U.S. title match, Cesaro versus John Cena. I was predicting this one, Kevin Owens to get another interruption again. Well, they go at it to start the match. Cesaro hits an uppercut and Cena goes to the floor to regroup as we go to commercial. Back from the break and Cena's in control. He calls for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Cesaro jumps up with a clothesline for a 2 count. And then Cena with a standing drop kick. Cena charges in the corner, but Cesaro moves out of the way. Cesaro with a long suplex for a 2 count. As I believe he actually picked him up from the floor all the way for a suplex. And then they trade shots in the middle of the ring. Cesaro with a counter and a DDT for 2 count. Cesaro with more offense on the floor before bringing it back in the ring and covering for a 2 count. Cesaro keeps Cena grounded, and Cesaro with another 2 count and another submission, keeping Cena grounded. Yeah, he's using a crossface submission as he's keeping Cena grounded as we go to another commercial back from the break. And Cesaro's nailing a backbreaker for a 2 count. Cesaro misses an uppercut in the corner, and Cena slams him down. And he goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Cesaro misses a clothesline. Cena slams him again and goes for the shuffle again, but Cesaro caught him with a crossface. And they trade submissions as Cena backdrops Cesaro. Cena drops an elbow and goes for the attitude adjustment, but it's blocked. Cena gets Cesaro nails 3 gut-wrench slams for a 2 count. Cesaro with a running uppercut in the corner. Cesaro drops Cena for the Cesaro swing, but it's blocked and turned into a DDT by Cena. And Cena gets a 2 count. Cena goes back up to the top, but Cesaro drop kicks him out to the floor. Cesaro nails a running uppercut against the barrier. Cesaro rolls back Cena in the ring and goes up top. But Cena makes a comeback, more back and forth action, and clothespin attempts. Cesaro falls out of an attitude adjustment and hits a huge spinning uppercut from the ropes for a 2 count. They both ended up on the floor again. Cesaro charges with a running uppercut, but Cena backdropped him into the timekeeper area. Cena brought Cesaro back in the ring and goes up top. Cesaro croshed him with an uppercut, and they got nailed the right hand. Cesaro climbed up, but Cena fought him off with a couple of headbutts. Cesaro hits the mat. Cena climbed up and hits the big leg drop for a 2 count. Cesaro blocked another attitude adjustment and lifted Cena up for a big uppercut in midair that doesn't connect all the way because he actually hit him in the chest and not the chin. Cesaro with a 2 count, and then Cesaro approached Cena, but Cena nailed the attitude adjustment for a close 2 count. And then Cesaro caught Cena in the Cesaro swing. And this seemed like it took like 2 or 3 more minutes in the swing. Cesaro dropped him. Went for the sharpshooter to a pop. Cesaro locks it in, then Cena crawled to the ropes for the escape. But Cesaro pulled it back in and kept it locked in. Cena eventually set out and put Cesaro in an STF. Cesaro powered up to his feet with a very impressive suplex and a 2 count. Then Cena misses a springboard stunner. And then Cesaro blocked the attitude adjustment and nailed the neutralizer for a close 2 count. Cesaro countered a tornado DDT and applied another crossface in the middle of the ring. Cena made it to the bottom of the rope. Fans chant for Cesaro as he nails the float over suplex from the apron. Cesaro with another 2 count, more back and forth action. Cena with a sit down power bomb and a 2 count. Cena argues with the referee because he didn't even get down there for at least a 3 or 4 count before attempting to get a 2 count pin. As he was late getting down, like I said, Cena took Cesaro to the top for another attitude adjustment, but Cesaro fought him off. Cesaro tried for a super neutralizer, but Cena stopped it. Then he fought out of it until Cena nailed an attitude adjustment for the second rope and got the pinfall. Well, after the match, momentarily, Kevin Owens ran down and nailed Cena, and Cena blocked a pop-up powerbomb and hits an attitude adjustment for himself, sending Owens to the floor. Cena's music hits, and again as Owens stumbles up the entranceway, Raw goes off the air with Cena raising his title in the air. What happened after Raw, after the taping stopped in Chicago, as John Cena was still in the ring, he reportedly brought Cesaro back out and praised him for their great main event match. And then Cena put over Cesaro some more and gave a speech that was described as a really touching moment. Fans on social media noted that some people were crying at Cena's word for Cesaro. And to this point, even on Tuesday, I still haven't gotten a dark match main event. Just that little segment there. So if I do find it, it'll be on your SmackDown taping. Spoilers. Thanks again. Peace out. God bless you. And if you didn't know, you better call me, bro.